I'm really wanting to spend some time to talk about the origination of real luxury.
We also want to give people that bridge to get from where they are now to building their luxury business. So even if they don't meet the standards now.
And that's so representative of Real as a whole, just wanting to share and give back and help each other.
Welcome back to Perspectives Unlocked, the podcast by Real Brokerage, where the sharpest minds in real estate share what's next. In today's episode, Dre Madden, CMO at Real, sits down with Kofi Nartey, Real Luxury Executive Director, to unpack what it really takes to build a standout luxury division in today's market. From setting higher standards and creating culture-driven collaboration to building a referral machine powered by trust, this conversation is packed with insights for agents ready to level up. Let's dive in.
So, hello, Kofi Nartey. I am so excited to have you on the Real podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
So excited. We have had such amazing moments recently together. Kofi is the executive director of Real Luxury, and I'm really wanting to spend some time to talk about the origination of Real Luxury, how you thought about bringing it over, because you were the one that really initiated this for us and said we got to bring it to Real. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how this whole thing started.
Well, I was bitten by a luxury spider. Okay. And then, so the origin story, yes. I partnered with Real in August of 2023. And, that was a big decision to move my firm over and to partner with this growing brokerage. But part of it was just the vision that I saw where the industry was headed. The economics made a lot of sense as a business person. The numbers made a lot of sense. And then the leadership and culture. I'd been friends with Sharon Srivatsa, who's the president, for years, and had a chance to meet Tamir and you and the other leaders. And I was like, this is a place that I want to be and people that I want to build and grow with. And part of what I wanted to bring to the table was a luxury division. I know that there were already some agents who were doing some luxury business. I knew that we'd be able to even bring more agents into our world if we had that offering for them. And the industry kind of needs it, right? It needed something that was an elevated experience, elevated membership requirements, things that, consumers were looking for. And so we wanted to put together something that both serviced those agents and that part of their business, but also the consumers that they serviced. So we initiated the process. I don't know if you want me to pause there, but
No, I just remember getting the call from you and saying, I got an idea. Can we go through it?
Yes.
And what I loved the most was you saying, Dre, I don't want this to be like every other luxury brokerage. Like, I want this to be different. I want us to think bigger.
Right.
And I want us to have higher guidelines. And I want us to really think wisely about who we bring in, how we grow, what we're doing, what we offer. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about what you were thinking there right from the very beginning, what your guidelines were that kind of drove you.
Well, as you were saying that, I just remember you saying yes, yes, and yes. Like it was all on board, which was amazing. And it was amazing to have the idea and the concept received that way. But you're right. I've been in the business for 22 years now, and I've been a little bit guilty of the problem, right? I do some teaching, as you know, and I've taught some luxury real estate courses, and I still have a real estate course I teach now. But I've been hired by a lot of the brokerages over the years to teach their real estate courses. And once people take my course, 2 days, 3 days, what have you, and I'm a good teacher, I'm really good, it doesn't mean that they're ready to label themselves as a luxury agent. It just means that they have the framework and the foundation to start building their luxury business. And so for our luxury division, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just that it was a name on a business card or a title on a business card or something you're adding to your website, but we actually had vetted, experienced agents who really have met the highest bar in the industry for standards for a luxury division. And we were able to do that. So, the other part of it too was making sure we were doing it the real way. Then that's the work hard, be kind, the collaborative way. And that was great because between you and Sharon and the team, we were able to identify a few other agents from different parts of the country so we could have different voices and different perspectives and hear different needs as we were building out what was going to be the framework really for the luxury division.
Yeah, I love the fact that we brought together so many different folks and put them in the room and said, what are your thoughts? What do you think it's going to take? because everybody does have a different perspective, and especially at Real, where everyone is remote and we're also integrated into our own worlds, it's really important to understand the needs of the team at large.
Yeah.
What in that process, we had lots of differing opinions, but what are the few things that stood out the most where everybody was completely aligned on the charter?
Yeah, I think the things that aligned us, where there was just a 100% unanimous yes, right? Was we wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something that was elevated, and we wanted to do something that we hadn't really seen in the industry, especially as it related to collaboration and connectivity throughout the division, around the country, throughout North America. So even with other luxury divisions that I've seen, other luxury divisions that I've been a part of, it's been, one region, two regions, one area, another area, and it hadn't really been connected. Or offices are franchises and they're not communicating with each other, or agents are part of the division, but they're operating in silos and they're operating by themselves. And so I think the one part, everybody wanted to work together, everybody wanted to collaborate, and everybody wanted to hold that bar higher than we had seen before. And I think what was also great about it was the engagement with leadership. I've built luxury divisions before. I've built sports and entertainment divisions with big brokerages, national, international brokerages, but I've never had the level of corporate engagement and collaboration that we had here, and the actual level of investment from you. I mean, we had probably
Constantly.
70 to 80 Zoom calls, and you were on all of them, which was amazing. We had Sharon joining us, and even the charter members that we identified to help with the process, taking their time to engage, and we'd meet over and over and over to really figure out what was going to be the value add to the agents, what was going to be the value add to the consumers. And for you, being the CMO of the brokerage, still taking time to really dive into this process with us. I mean, that's how I knew we're in the right place, one, and we're going to do something special because of that level of investment. So I've said it before, but I always take the chance to say it
Yeah.
again. Thank you. Thank
But
you.
I
Thank
have
you.
great people that I get to work with like you. So
There you
you
go.
guys took it from there. It was really amazing to watch a team of people be so passionate and run in your guidance. Talk a little bit about, you said high thresholds. So what does that mean? And why did you think that was so important?
Yes. So when we look at defining luxury, you always get a bunch of different answers, right? But also with the common thread of the luxury experience, we wanted to find something that flew above the common standards of the industry. So the common standards of the industry is usually the top 10% of your any given market, but a minimum of $500,000. We wanted to increase that minimum. So the top 10% of your market, having closed deals in that top 10%, but with a minimum of 750. And so some markets like LA, we're closer to about 2 million in that top 10%. But other smaller markets, that increased the bar, increased the standard, so that we know that there's a certain minimum level of production that the agents have had in the luxury space, right? And so we wanted to also increase the number of deals that they've closed. Remember, I told you I was guilty of adding to the problem where people had never done a luxury deal, but took a course and then were calling themselves luxury agents.
Yeah.
We wanted people who not only had the training, but also had the experience. And most of the brokerages where I've done trainings or they have a division, it's 2 to 3 deals that they've closed, even if you're going to get some sort of actual designation. Well, we increased that to 6. 6 deals closed in that top 10% of the market. And it's something that, not everyone can meet the standards, and what's great about the people that we have on board is they're so collaborative that we also want to give people that bridge to get from where they are now to building their luxury business. So even if they don't meet the standards now, we want to empower them with tools, with access, with resources to get them there. But we also wanted to hold the bar and hold the standard for the people that we bring into the division right away.
Yeah, and it seems to be working. I mean, how many members do we have so far right out of the gate in the
Yes.
first year?
We haven't even hit the 1 year mark yet, but we're already at 250 agents, which is absolutely amazing. We launched last May 22nd in Canada in Banff, which was great. It was a great venue, a great place to make this big, huge announcement that was met with so much excitement.
I remember.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was great. So over 250 members, we have over $1.7 billion in active listings between our division members, and that number is just going to continue to grow. I think even the last 30 people that joined, we haven't added their active listings yet. So it's these numbers are great because it shows not just our division members, but also the consumer the amount of access that we have to luxury inventory, the amount of experience that we have collectively, and also we get to demonstrate the synergy and collaborativeness of the division as a whole.
I mean, speaking of collaborative,
Yeah.
we have a lot of a referral business. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about how our agents are working with one another and how the referrals are so important to the growth at Real?
Definitely, definitely. I think one of my personal goals for all of our division members is that they never have to say no to helping a client with their luxury real estate business because they know that they have a qualified colleague in that city, in that state, in that region that can service them. And we also look for the continuity of service, right? And you know that as well as anyone because you're our chief marketing officer. When there's a brand promise, and the experience of working with that brand should be somewhat similar with some, variation for personal touches, but somewhat similar across the board if I'm doing a handoff to a real luxury division member. And so we've seen it right away. We've seen people collaborating both with sharing each other's listings, promoting each other's listings. I mean, it's amazing to be able to tell a client, I have an amazing database, but now I have access to 250 plus amazing databases. So when we're sharing each other's listings, it's getting to really one of the largest databases of affluent clientele, luxury clientele in the world. And then there's direct collaboration as well. I've co-marketed properties directly with an agent where I'm marketing it, they're marketing it. We're co-listing properties together. So we're bringing our resources and experiences together, 2, sometimes 3 agents working on one specific listing, in addition to all of the background collaboration and syndication of the listing. So it's exciting times, and I think the best is really yet to come.
Real has quite a lot of syndicated partners too.
Yes.
From the listing syndication. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that are working for our agents right now?
Definitely, definitely. When you look at luxury real estate and the luxury buyers and transactions, they're often coming from outside of the immediate area. I think the statistic says right around 50 miles plus. So it's good to have local knowledge and expertise, but you have to have regional, national, and international reach to reach that buyer pool of potential buyers who are buying, not always because they need to, but just as a want. So you have to expose them to the properties that you're marketing. And so we wanted to make sure that we could deliver on that kind of exposure for our clients. And that comes through some of our partners. So through the partnerships that we have, both through the Institute, Luxury Home Marketing, LuxuryRealEstate.com, James Edition, different entities that we're working with in direct collaboration. Wall Street Journal, Barron's, like through those. So through each one of those, there's probably 10 to 15 syndicated partners, right? So even through LuxuryRealEstate.com, we're syndicated now in over 40 different countries in those countries' native languages, which is huge. Somebody can engage with the property, engage with the specs of the property in their own language, which is great, makes the process and the experience even better. And then we're meeting people where they are, whether it's reading the Wall Street Journal or if it's on Barron's or if it's, anywhere online digitally. And it just is a great way to make sure that we're hitting the consumer where they might find the property and not missing any gaps.
So I also feel like education is a huge part of our differentiation at Real, and feel incredibly lucky to have you, Kofi, leading there as a teacher and trainer and part of the Institute already. Tell me a little bit about how you feel we've created these masterminds. Are they hitting your expectations? What more do you want? How have they been running so far? I've been pretty impressed, but I'm curious your thoughts.
I have been beyond impressed with our masterminds. I think if I had to tell everyone what our secret sauce is, masterminds are our secret sauce. Because when you think about the number of qualified agents that we've brought in, but who are also open to sharing and collaborating and opening their playbooks to each other, it's insane the amount of proprietary information that has been shared through these masterminds already. And we have Peggy Lynn Spiker, who's also heading up, coordinating the masterminds now. That's another thing I didn't mention, that we have people in leadership roles that are helping us grow even faster and do things even better. But even in coordinating those masterminds, we're bringing in guest speakers to cover everything from marketing properties to how do you present better? We had someone who coaches people on TED Talks and TEDx Talks and presentations come in and talk to us about our presentations and our listing presentations and how we communicate and how we deliver information better. And that was so well received. We did one on marketing. We did one on how do you get luxury clients. And we had over 50 plus ideas right in the group shared that very day on how do you get
What
luxury
about that one where you actually put out
clients.
your secrets, right?
The
Tell me.
marketing one. Yeah. So we were on a Zoom and I was talking about the strategy that I also teach and I use myself of keeping a master list of all the marketing ideas that you ever hear about. Like never say no, just write them down because that way when you take a listing, you can just pull up that list and say, okay, here's what I'm going to choose from. And somebody put in the chat on our mastermind Zoom, will you share your list? And I was like, oh God, this is taking me 20 years to create this list. I don't, I don't know if I want to share it. But I have to practice what I preach. And one of the things that, I'd been pushing and we all are kind of pushing now is constant collaboration. And I said, you know what, as the executive director, I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk the talk. And so I said, under two rules, two requests. One, we do it on a separate Zoom. And two, the price of admission is that you also have to submit your top 20 ideas. Wow. So we had almost 1,600, over 1,500 ideas submitted. And thank goodness we have Nicola who's helping us hand in hand to coordinate and organize that. So we ended up with almost
It's gold.
600 unique ideas. It was one of the best masterminds that we've had. It was epic. And I had people come up to me. We had our moment in Vegas, as part of our event there. We had a luxury toast and meetup. And I had several division members come up and say that Zoom alone, that mastermind alone was worth the
Oh, that's
whole.
cool. And that's so representative of Real as a whole, just wanting to share and give back and help each other so we
Yes,
can all rise together. I feel
exactly.
like that was like the moment, the quintessential moment.
Yes.
Like when you think about the future of, there's two things. When you think about the future of Real luxury, I'm curious your thoughts of where you think that's going to go. And then also just luxury industry as a whole right now in a very challenging environment. Where do you see that, and where do you see Rio sitting in that environment?
Yeah, I think we've launched something that didn't exist. It didn't exist in this way before. And so we've gone into a new territory. We're not necessarily even competing with other luxury brands because there aren't any that are this cohesive, this collaborative across boundaries, throughout North America. I think to keep that competitive advantage, we're always looking at what can we do better. It's funny because you will send me a text probably every couple of weeks. Is there anything we should be looking at? Is there anything we should be doing better? Like, what's the feedback? And that's how I think our whole leadership team thinks, what can we do better? So things like our VIP card, where we're bringing discounted services on private aviation, on high-end restaurants, high-end vendors to our clients. And as we add to that, it just adds to the competitive advantage. As we add additional services and resources, we're looking at this year adding a sports and entertainment arm that really specializes on celebrities, athletes, entertainers, and their real
And
estate
that's
needs.
so much of your background. I can't wait to see what that
Oh,
grows.
it's going to be great. I've created sports and entertainment divisions before, but there's just so much overlap with luxury that most of the time it's a separate division from
Right.
luxury, and with ours, it's going to be an arm within luxury, which I think is going to make it so much more impactful and so much more powerful. But those are the kind of things that will keep us on the leading edge, right? Keep us really ahead of what other brokerages are doing, and ideally, will draw more amazing agents to us. We've had so many people raise their hands and say, tell me about luxury, tell me what you're doing. I've been over here, we have a luxury division, but people are kind of siloed, they're a little bit too competitive, people don't share ideas, or it's hard to do this, it's hard to do that. We don't have any of those problems. So I want to guard against those problems. I want to make sure that we're staying in this same level of culture and collaboration moving forward. And if we do that and continue to add value, add services, sky's the limit.
Can't wait. I'm looking forward to working with you on that one too.
Definitely. It's going to be exciting. How about you? What do you see for our future,
Oh,
forward with this?
I I'm always amazed by where Real goes next.
Yeah,
We're often like innovating from a technology perspective
right.
that allows us to have such efficiencies that we can focus on strategy and move to the next. Um, to me, it's all about the people. So we harness the talent that we bring in. We harness the talent in our agents. Our agents are our marketers. I feel like I have 26,000 partners in crime right now, because that's literally today. We just announced that we're at 26,000.
Yes.
And I feel very lucky to be around such phenomenal marketers as a whole.
Yes.
So to me, sky's the limit. We always break the mold at Real. That's something that we're not scared of. And so figuring out new divisions that hit specific market needs, figuring out new technology that's going to make us all more efficient, and really harnessing the world, the way AI is like taking us into a new direction. We're at the forefront right now because we're able to take our proprietary technology and layer it with AI and make our agents incredibly powerful.
Yes.
So, and that goes across all divisions, goes across all services. I'm really looking forward to where our mortgage and title companies are going to grow. And even though it's a really challenging market, it doesn't scare me one bit. I feel like we've been disruptive from the start. We've been growing fast and furious in the hardest of markets. And so now we've just got a lot of leverage behind us, and we can hit the ground running across the board on a variety of fronts. So it's exciting to have this kind of growth and momentum. And on the luxury side, it's exciting to have such high standards for the highest standard of selling, right? The luxury group. So why not make that our focus and make that our key edge? And I'm looking forward to seeing all the new agents that are coming into luxury and seeing what they can do.
It's going to be
But
amazing.
collaboration is everything to us. And so it's all about us all working together. So I don't see, oh, I'm a leader, you're an agent, you're an executive, levels to me don't exist at Real. We are all one together and we build together.
I 100% agree. I just came from an event with Sharon, and he was pouring into us as Sharon does. And then the second day, we had Eric Hatch, who's also one of our leaders at Real, pouring into everyone. And we did small groups discussions. And I think I probably received one of the best compliments I've received this year, at least so far. And it was somebody saying, it's so refreshing how down to earth you are and how you're sharing your challenges. Like, we see you on stage and we see you in your videos and it seems like you have it all together, but you have challenges just like the rest of us. And I was so happy to hear that, because we were just all being vulnerable. And with that, it creates opportunity to collaborate, an opportunity to share. And I think that level of, one, vulnerability, but also what I see from our leadership, from you, from Tamir, from Sharon, from Jenna, is a certain humility that creates the space for improvement. If there's no humility, if there's no acknowledgement of those things, there's no room to receive feedback. Improve, right? And so I think that's the good part. It's like, things are amazing at Real, but there's always some challenges as well, and they're fully acknowledged and they're fully addressed. And then Pritesh is creating something to fix it, and we're
all in it together.
We're all in it together. I think that's the best part, and we can have those conversations in love and keep moving forward.
Well, cool. This was awesome. I'm so glad I got a chance to connect with you on our own podcast.
Yes, I love it.
To have calls and Zooms all the time. So thank you. I can't wait to continue the year ahead, and I'm really looking forward to everything that Real and Luxury is going to give us in 2025, 2026, and beyond.
Super exciting things ahead. So much to give and so much to build and do together.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Perspectives Unlocked. Huge thanks to Kofi Nartey and Dre Madden for pulling back the curtain on what makes Real Luxury more than just a name. It's a movement. If you're inspired to grow your brand, your network, or your vision for what real estate can be, then subscribe, share, and keep unlocking new perspectives with us. Until next time, I'm Leo, and we're just getting started.